Welcome back, friends. Welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about what does it mean to be vulnerable? What does it mean to be vulnerable? And what exactly is being vulnerable? And how can it help us in our daily lives? There are a lot of ways to define vulnerability. The term vulnerable means to be susceptible to harm. Another way to describe vulnerability could be at risk. At the root of it, this harm comes from emotional experiences. Being emotionally vulnerable involves the process of acknowledging your emotions, especially those that are uncomfortable or painful. Acknowledging painful emotions can be difficult because it's human nature to avoid experiences that hurt us. Oftentimes, instead of fully experiencing or I, acknowledging an unpleasant emotional experience, we may do things that help distract us. For instance, when we feel sad, you may call a friend for emotional support or ask for advice. When you feel angry, you may blow off some steam through healthy actions or habits, such as going for a run, or you may do unhealthy habits such as drinking. When you feel anxious, you may prepare for the worst case scenario. Emotional vulnerability can be thought of as a two-step process. The first is simply observing your emotions. For example, observe that you are feeling anger, sadness, or anxiety without thinking about it or acting on it. Next, step the next step is validating your emotions. Validating your emotions would mean reminding yourself that it's okay to feel whatever emotions you're going through. This means that there is no judgment or self-criticism. Emotional acceptance and vulnerability. Emotional acceptance is an active process that involves turning towards one's emotions and deeply engaging with these emotions. Importantly, emotional acceptance is not passive resignation to one's emotions or one situation. It's just acknowledging the existence of something and trying not to mentally fight it. Contrary to intuition, engaging with emotions via emotional acceptance does not exacerbate the emotions. In fact, emotional acceptance can meaningfully improve people's emotional experience over time. That's because it's often better to acknowledge our painful emotions than try to avoid them. It's important to note, however, that it's not realistic to always do this. You would be emotionally exhausted if you reflected and pondered upon every single emotion and mood during the day. The benefits of vulnerability: it can ease your anxiety. You may be thinking that encountering painful emotions is a recipe for increasing anxiety, but in fact, it can do the opposite. Many people who suffer from chronic anxiety have the belief that feeling bad is harmful and that negative emotions are to be feared. But when you begin practicing vulnerability, you send a different message to your brain. You begin acknowledging your emotions and allowing yourself to experience them. It's a signal to yourself that negative emotions are not all bad, which can reduce your overall anxiety. It strengthens your relationships. Vulnerability can strengthen relationships by building trust and intimacy. The first step is to be open, vulnerable with yourself by acknowledging your emotions, and then you can work your way up to being vulnerable with your loved ones, such as your friends or your romantic partner. It can help you to become more self aware. By acknowledging your emotions and thought patterns, you begin to recognize your defense mechanisms and emotional blind spots. It is often the case that the more we try to push away painful emotions, the stronger they get. So, becoming aware of emotions is often helpful. How can you be more vulnerable? First, label your emotions. Try to describe how you're feeling in the simplest terms instead of resorting to vague descriptions such as I'm feeling a bit stressed. Be concrete and say I'm feeling angry and hurt from the fight I had yesterday with my partner. Imagine you were describing how you were feeling to a child. Two, try journaling. Journaling can be a powerful tool to help you become more vulnerable. Try using emotion focused journaling to help you articulate how you're feeling and acknowledge these emotions. This will help you express your emotions to yourself with which can help you slowly build up to expressing them to other people. 3, seek professional help. Therapy or counseling is an amazing opportunity for you to practice expressing emotions on a regular basis. Not only do you have to articulate how you feel, but your therapist can also help you acknowledge painful emotions that you may have repressed in your past. In summary, vulnerability can be difficult to experience, but it's important to do so, as being vulnerable can help you grow and improve your relationships. Hopefully, this article offered you some strategies that will help you manage the experience of being vulnerable with much more ease.